Hello everybody, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3, back here with another video, and finally, we get to my April pay-per-view review. And this time, it's WCW Spring Stampede 1997, taking place April 6th, 1997 in Tupelo, Mississippi, in the Tupelo Coliseum. On commentary, you got Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and the American Dream Dusty Rhodes Daddy. So, where to start with this show? Well, this show was actually known for a few things, like a really good main event, which was a no DQ match between Diamond Dallas Page and Macho Man Randy Savage. And the other one is also this moment with Booker T saying the N-word. Because, it's Booker T. I mean, this is where the man comes from. So let's get into it. Our opening match is a match between Rey Mysterio Jr. and the Ultimo Dragon. This was a great match. This was their third encounter on a pay-per-view, because the last two times they went at it, Mysterio won the first match back at Hog Wild in Sturgis. And then, just 3 months later, at World War III, Ultimo Dragon would get the victory on that show. So this was seen as the rubber match between Mysterio and Dragon. No Sonny Ono at ringside, just a straight-up one-on-one, technically sound, high-flying cruiserweight style matchup. This was a great match. Although the cruiserweight title wasn't even on the line on this show, because even though the Champion 6 was the cruiserweight champion, he did not wrestle on this show. And yes, we did see 6 on this show a few times, but he did not wrestle on this show. So yeah, Mysterio gets the roll-up on Ultimo Dragon. 1, 2, 3. Mysterio is your victor. This was a great opening match. And in between this match, you also have Lee Marshall of the WCW correspondent trying to get an interview with Kevin Nash for his upcoming tag team title match later on tonight, as he has to defend the tag team gold by himself against both Rick and Scott Steiner of the Steiner Brothers. Because Scott Hall has been missing for 3 weeks. Yeah, so this is a show that has no Scott Hall and no Hollywood Hogan. Hollywood Hogan for obvious reasons, because this is one of the few times where he didn't defend his title on a pay-per-view. But we would see Scott Hall a month later at the Slamboree pay-per-view, so at least we got Scott Hall for the next pay-per-view. Anyway, Lee Marshall's trying to get an interview with Kevin Nash, but 6 waves him off. Then Lee Marshall tries again, and you got police outside the NWO dressing room, since I'm wearing my NWO t-shirt. So, you have Rick and Scott Steiner who get riled up. Kevin Nash, provokes them. Scott ends up nailing a police officer. He gets dragged away in handcuffs. He gets pepper sprayed. You see Scott being dragged away, and he gets handcuffed. He's yelling for Rick. Rick is being held back by security. Scott is yelling, "Ricky!" And Scott has got, mace in his eye. He got maced. And that's pretty much it. Later on tonight, it would be Kevin Nash taking on Rick Steiner for the tag team titles in a one-on-one match. So, it basically became one-on-one once Scott Steiner and Scott Steiner and Scott Hall are out of the equation, so it just becomes Rick Steiner versus Kevin Nash later on tonight. But of course, Kevin Nash, since the NWO won that big match at Uncensored, basically makes a special demand of who the referee should be, and I will talk about this when I get to it. So our next match is for the WCW Women's Championship as Akira Hokuto with manager Sonny Ono, because of course, takes on Medusa and defeats Medusa to retain her Women's Championship. If you want to talk about a championship that just got lost in the shuffle among the championships of the 90s, the WCW Women's Championship. It's like, did we forget WCW had a women's division? Because I sure sort of forgot about it. Because, no shit, the WCW Women's division was just forgotten. Like, it was just forgotten, where you have the Cruiserweight division that everyone is acknowledging. You got the world title picture, your mid-card titles, your tag team titles, all that jazz. But then there's the WCW Women's Championship, which got lost in the fucking shuffle. Yeah. So yeah, this match was fine, I guess. This was a good match. Luna Vachon comes in, she attacks Medusa, which led to Hokuto getting the victory. Solid match. Nothing more to be said here. So next up, we get our next title match of 4 title matches as Prince Iaukea defends his WCW World Television Championship against Lord Steven Regal. Here's the thing. Iaukea was just green, I'll tell you that. Iaukea was freaking green as hell. Like, Iaukea should have just had more time at the power plant. Putting in more time at the power plant couldn't have hurt him. But, he was fucking green. Anyway, yeah, Iaukea gets the victory over Regal. Then Regal, at the end of this match, attacks Iaukea. He ambushes Iaukea, beats Iaukea down. Nothing more to be said. So next we get an interview with Ric Flair getting interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund, where Ric Flair gives us an update of when he's going to come back. He said, I'll be good to go in May. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be wrestling at Slamboree. And, of course, I've also gotten word that Kevin Green is coming to fight with me, since Kevin Green's going to start becoming a full-time professional wrestler now. So, yeah, Kevin Green is going to fight alongside Ric Flair at Slamboree against the New World Order. That was Ric Flair's prognosis as he gives it to Mean Gene. As Ric Flair announces his return, and he says, tonight, the Horsemen deal with their business. Speaking of the Horsemen, you have Steve Mongo McMichael taking on, or shall you say, Steve Mongo McMichael teaming with Jeff Jarrett with Deborah in their corner to take on Public Enemy. And this match it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great of a match. I mean, you did see chairs get involved in the play. You get a table spot. And, Public Enemy, they do nail McMichael with the halberd. They still get the victory. Public Enemy gets the victory and beats McMichael and Jared. I mean, this match just wasn't that great. I mean, Jared, yes, he's a serviceable wrestler. I mean, he's a good worker. I'll give Jarrett that. McMichael, Mongo just doesn't... Why did he ever get in the ring in the first place? And then you got Public Enemy, and I'm not the biggest Public Enemy fan, so I'm not going to say I hate Public Enemy, but That's that. So next we get the most infamous moment from this show. Like I said, that one of the infamous moments of the show, you have Booker T saying the N-word as he and Stevie Ray and Sister Sherry are being interviewed about their upcoming Four Corners #1 contenders match for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship to determine who will get a chance to wrestle Hollywood Hogan down the line. And Booker T says, "We take what we want. We want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you." Yeah. I'm not going to say the N-word. I'm not going to say the N-word because I ain't racist. But you get the idea. But you have Sherry, who's standing next to Booker, laughing her ass off, wearing all that fucking glitter. Because Sherry had this thing about wearing lots and lots of glitter. So yeah, you have Sherry laughing. Because this made her laugh when Booker T just straight out said it. So next up we got, for the WCW United States Championship, Chris Benoit taking on Dean Malenko. This was a solid match. This wasn't as good as their Hog Wild match, but it still had some good stuff on in this match. This match was a great match, but it ended in DQ when you saw Jacqueline get involved as she attacked Woman, aka Nancy Benoit. Kevin Sullivan comes out to attack Chris. Hell, Arn Anderson even gets a shot in at Dean Malenko, and Eddie Guerrero even came out. And, he had a cast on his arm, and Kevin Sullivan, Jacqueline, and Eddie Guerrero carry the U.S. title off, and Eddie's, confused, what the hell is going on? Yeah, exactly. And Malenko, yes, was the U.S. champion, so there's that. Malenko still retained because this match ended in a DQ. So, yeah. Fine match, but sucks that it had to end in a DQ. So next up, we get our next match being the Four Corners match, as Lex Luger, the Giant, Booker T, and Stevie Ray have a Four Corners #1 contenders match. First person to gain the pinfall or submission wins and gets the title opportunity, or gets the title shot. And this was a fun match to watch. Not much to say except Luger gets the torture rack on Stevie Ray, and Luger's the one who gets the title shot. I would have thought the Giant should have gotten the shot at Hogan. I mean, because it looked like he was going to get the shot in, but instead he tagged Luger in and actually let Luger get the title shot instead, because he basically is friends with Luger. Okay. So the Giant basically just handed Lex Luger the title shot instead of going for it himself, even though it was every man for himself. I mean, Paul White must be a saint to actually do something like that. Alright, so next up, we get, for the WCW Tag Team Championships, we got Kevin Nash with Ted DiBiase and Syxx to retain the WCW World Tag Team Championships, defeating Rick Steiner. And okay, this match wasn't that bad. And yes, you had referee Nick Patrick, who had been in the ranks of the NWO. He joined the NWO back in late 1996, in the latter half of 1996, as the year was winding down and we were going into 1997. He had become the NWO's personal referee, and we were starting to see, how far the gears were turning for the NWO as Rick Steiner was driven into the exposed turnbuckle multiple times by Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash drove him into the exposed turnbuckle 4 times. and DiBiase is like pin him, and of course, Kevin Nash does get the pinfall. Nash gets the victory for the New World Order, entertains. So that was basically it. Nash retains the titles. The tag team gold stays with the NWO for right now. And we were starting to see defections from the NWO happen on this show with the likes of Ted DiBiase and referee Nick Patrick. Next up, we got Diamond Dallas Page with Kimberly in our main event, defeating Macho Man Randy Savage in a no disqualification match. This was the match of the night. This was a great match. And, Page and Savage would feud through the entire year of 97. They would have one hell of a trilogy on pay-per-view. They had this match, their match from the Great American Bash, and even that awesome Halloween Havoc match, where it was a Las Vegas death match. But in the end, like, you saw DDP, he took the early advantage. He had early offense in this match. Then Savage came back, and they were doing all this stuff. Like, Savage attempts to grab the ring bell and everything, or tries to grab a chair. That gets taken away from him. We saw Diamond Dallas Page hit the Diamond Cutter. 1, 2, 3. Nick Patrick, who comes out as the referee to referee this match, makes the 3 count. And Diamond Dallas Page gets the victory. Then the NWO come out. They beat up Diamond Dallas Page. Then Savage attempts to slap Kimberly, but then Eric Bischoff stops Savage. Then Savage pushes Bischoff off of him after Bischoff attempts to stop Savage from slapping Kimberly. And Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Dusty Rhodes were like, we're starting to see chinks in the NWO armor, cracks in the foundation of the New World Order. And yeah, the crowd was chanting, we want Sting, but Sting wasn't on the show. Which, okay, it kind of made sense. But anyway, Spring Stampede 1997, it was a great show, and it was a great show, the second time around watching it. Anyway, this has been your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I'll see you next time with Judgment Day 2005.